Welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna learn something new. We're gonna learn how to select something from the drop-down list. Then we populate a table, we populate a text area, we populate a text box, we populate any other also text drop-down list. So we're gonna use JavaScript or jQuery or Ajax, so then we use also PHP. So now I want to show you how it works. We're going to say localhost. I want to go to that, then I go to that, then I go to md.php. Okay, this is how it works. When I select here, it took me somewhere far. It wants me to log in. When I select something, like I'm gonna say md, when I select something here, I see the table comes and gives me this is name, whatever. So whatever I select, it gives me something. You get me? Whenever I select, give me something. But whatever data I get, we get it from the database. You understand? So this is what we're gonna do. So to not waste a lot of time, I'm gonna request you open your notepad, and you're gonna create two files. One file, we might call it the one for HTML. I'm gonna say it's a doc type, say HTML. Okay, it's fine. Then we say it should be HTML5. Then we're gonna say here, this is gonna be the one which gonna display stuff from your what. Okay, it's gonna say HTML. Okay, it's gonna be small letters, HTML. Guys, I don't want to copy and paste codes. I want to go step by step and I explain to you, then it's gonna be easier for you. HTML. Then after that, we close that. We're gonna open this also here and say body. I guess you know some HTML. I'm gonna say insert, yes. You're gonna go here and close this, say body. We close the body here. We're just dealing with our tags first. We're gonna close and say title. Some of things, if you don't want, you don't do them, but it's better you do whatever I do here so that you follow and you don't get lost. Yeah, okay. Drop down, I'm gonna say drop down, call it drop down. Okay. After that, the second step now I want to do what they call before the title you have a header. This thing matters somehow, you won't believe. And also we're gonna come here and say head, which you're gonna close head. So now name this file what you want to name, but this file is the first file you see to which you use the click stuff. So now here I'm gonna save this file. I'm gonna save it wherever you want to save it. Me, I know where to save my stuff. Okay, I'm gonna save it here. Name it any name you want. I wanna give mine I'm gonna call it main.php. Okay, I'm calling it main.php, though I haven't written any PHP in that, which is fine. After that main.php, I want to do something here to test my page if it's there. I'm gonna say head. I'm gonna say h1 and come here and I say h1, say h1, then we say tested drop down. Okay, you can forward the video if you know HTML and see what I've done in the something there. So let me go to here. Instead, you remember this is what we tested. I'm gonna say drop down. It's gonna be main. Okay, main dot php, and once we're done with that, we say okay. You can see that that's crazy. We have that. One thing I want you to do is I saved some things here. Simple. Wow, this is something to delete. Okay, what I saved here, what you need from me, these two files, you're gonna get them. We want to connect to Ajax, also to connect to jQuery, you understand. So you can see these two lines, copy them. I'm gonna put the code in the comment box below. I'm gonna show you where you're gonna get this, but you copy these, you need them in your thing. So maybe currently you can use a better jQuery version, but that's what I've used. Okay, you don't need this, believe so. This Ajax to validate is validation. Okay, let me take it out for now. Just only need that one line for jQuery. So here you can come and say script, which is going to be script, then say Java script. Is it type? It should be type. Yes, script type, which is going to be equals to Java. It's going to be text stroke JavaScript. Okay guys, I think you follow. You need this line also. Then you're gonna close your line, your script tag. Okay, once you close it, you're good to go. Okay, you save every step. We save. Then what next? Okay, what we're going to do first, we're going to create our own drop down list menu, which I'm gonna put here. I won't do CSS and all that. It's gonna be up to you to do. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come here and I say select, then I say name equals to whatever ID you're gonna give it, emp ID. Then you go to ID equals to emp ID. Emp is gonna be emp ID. Then we can say on change. That's when we're gonna go on small letter, then change. Okay, then say come in here. Then we're gonna give it a name. Okay, you're gonna find which name you're gonna name that. So mine, I named it any name I wanted. You can also name yours any name you want, you understand. So what you're gonna do after naming that, that's what we're gonna call as a function to do what, to represent us somewhere in the what, in to call that to work. So it's gonna say that's gonna be like our button anyway. So it's gonna be whenever someone clicks here, this function helps. Whenever there's a change here, it does something. So that's what we're gonna. So give it anything. Emp ID change. I've named it emp ID, not IDs. It's gonna be ID change. Whatever you think you're gonna name it, it's up to you. Then you go inside here and say inside here you say this dot value. So whatever means in this function, whenever value is changing, then do something. This dot value. Okay, after doing that, you find now you're done with that. Then we're gonna start creating our options. So we come here and we say select. We're gonna close it. Every time you open a tag, you have to close it. Make sure you close it, because you might find like your codes are not working because you forgot to close one tag. So now we're gonna come here and we create something where they call option. You know how to create an option. option. Then here in option you say value, which value you want to put here. You say equals to, then you say 0. I'm gonna put 0. Then after I have to also close that tag, which is gonna be like option here. We're gonna come here and say option. Then I need to got some disturbance here. Let me give me some second. I'm sorry guys about that, what happened. I had a problem here, so and I had to confirm and to attend to it. But anyway, what I'm gonna do is to switch off my phone. I don't want any disturbance anymore. So what I say, you put a value here, then you put, I'm gonna say select. So select something, whatever you want to select. Okay, then I'm gonna copy and paste to save time. Then I'll change just values and the text. I'm gonna say 1, 2. I'm gonna only deal with 2, so here I'm gonna say 2, here I'm gonna say 1. You can also make these to be dynamic. I don't know, maybe I'm gonna make a video when they are dynamic. So here, this guy, I know who's there in that ID1. It's gonna be MUSA, and here this guy would be Birmingham, I believe so. So whatever I'm gonna select here, it matches with whatever I want to get from the database. You understand? So once I'm done with that, so that is 1. So what am I gonna do? I'm going to confirm if that is working. Okay, if it can be displayed here. So here is what I'm gonna say. You can see it's displayed. You can see I can select whatever I select, but nothing happens because there's nothing I have done to program it to tell it to do what I want. Okay, so first of all, we're going to test our JavaScript if the JavaScript is working. If it's working, then it's fine. If it doesn't work, then we have to know why it's not working. So by using our function here, which is called id change, whatever you named it, doesn't matter. This is mine. So you're gonna come and say at least function, then you give it, I want to make the alert to show that it's working, just to test for test app. So for the test app, we're gonna come here and say alert, which is I'm gonna create here. Please get me right. I'm gonna come and say function, then I bring my function name, which is that. Then inside I'm gonna give it what, a parameter, which is gonna be val, which is value, stands for value. So then I come here and go down here and open the braces and close the braces. Then after that I do what, I'm gonna put a simple code which said alert. Whenever somebody change or select something, it should alert and say I'm selected, something like that, just to test our JavaScript. That there's nothing more on that. I'm going step by step because you can develop the entire code, then you find that it doesn't work. Okay, after that I'm gonna try to see, select, I'm selected, nothing works. So it simply means our JavaScript does not work. Why is it like that? So that's something we have to really look into. So what's wrong? What is wrong? What did we do wrong? You see, inside here we never put anything. I'm gonna put 1. So that was gonna give us a lot of stress because we didn't carefully check our code. Okay, we do that, select, nothing works again. So simply means our JavaScript is not working. Okay, I wonder what happened. Let me check here. I can put the alert here, cut it and put it before that function. It's a value, okay, which is val. So now we're gonna come here and paste it in there. Whenever, just on the start, it should work. If it doesn't work, something else. You can see the JavaScript, it does not work. Okay, that's the thing we have to diagnose first, because if we don't do that, we're in trouble. Script type text stroke JavaScript. You see, instead of T we didn't put T. You see, when you're coding, it's easier to make a mistake, and you judge the entire program. See, that's why I'm coding and testing line by line first of all. Okay, you can see now our JavaScript is working. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna delete this. After finding that it's working, it was our own fault. What mistake to not check each and every line. So you click here and say yes. It says I'm selected. Simply means every time when we change here, something is gonna happen. So if we're done with that, then what's next? That part is done. So we're gonna continue with our codes. Then we will then write the PHP code to display stuff. Okay, fine. So we need also something which we're gonna call a container. That container is gonna be like a div where we're gonna display whatever we need to display. You understand? So in that div we can make a table, we can make whatever we need to make, but I believe it's easier to make something simple than making something difficult, because we're gonna make a lot of, if we write a table, imagine doing the table for all these whatever, we're gonna spend a lot of time on that. So now what I'm gonna do, I won't do that. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna write a simple div which gonna come just after this. I'm gonna say div, that div we're gonna call it what, call it whatever you want, and I'm gonna put it in center. Div, we can call it div display, whatever I want to call it. Div id, gonna say equals to, we call the id, we can call it display me. Okay, and I say I don't want to be that much obvious because sometimes you use display everywhere. Then you say name equals to name equals to display. Okay, same thing. And then what are we gonna do in that case? After finishing that, we're gonna say align equals to center. In center we use American English, we don't use British English. So if you do center for British, you're not going to get it right. So once we do that, I'm gonna go down here and at least put what? At least put whatever I want to put here. I'm gonna say div. I'm gonna close the div. In that div, I'm gonna say hi, just hi, to show that the div is working. Okay. So after that, I'm gonna refresh, and you see the div here say hi. You can see that's our div where we're going to be displaying things. And can we make this to be a text area? We can do that. Text, let me try to say text area. Okay, try to do that and see if I can display something in the text area. You can see this is the text area. It doesn't want a lot of things. When I did it, you see, display things which are not supposed to be displayed there because I didn't code it well. So now what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna take the ID to be there, which is okay. Then I take out the div here, and okay, text area. Then do we need a text area? What stuff like text area. If I believe, if text area, if I know how to text area, if it's true that it can be closed like that, then it's okay. Then so okay, it's fine. I closed it and something's inside here which is high. So now what I'm going to target now is I'm gonna write a PHP code which is going to help us to do what, to connect to the database. After connecting to the database, then we're gonna call write a query which is gonna help us to come into place. So anyway, I have that code which I didn't want to explain a lot. Why? Because PHP is just PHP. It's fine. So but JavaScript, let me first write the JavaScript code. Once we're done with that, then we can go and do what, and paste in our PHP. So simple thing is, what you're gonna do, you're gonna say URL. This URL is the PHP code which gonna come to display your stuff, which you're gonna call to bring stuff here. So what you do, you go here, you say equals to, you can call any other page you want to say. I'm gonna say, maybe we call it content.php. So before we forget, we have to create that content.php. Okay, we copy that, we make it that, paste it, and we create a new one, which is gonna be content.php. So we're gonna do this. Please save this. I want to save it where I saved others. Okay, since we have content.php, then we save. Okay, once we save that, it's fine, super fine. This is content.php. I needed some stuff here to paste in there, but some of the code you won't need them, you get me. I don't want to confuse you here. I'm gonna say PHP, and we say PHP. Okay, with PHP. Okay, I don't want to confuse you a lot. I'm gonna paste that code here, which you might not need most of it. You need to get the code for what? You need to get the code for connecting to your database. This is the code to connect to your database, but you have to write it yourself. It's simple, you know how to do that. This code, another code here, it shows the errors in case we're gonna have some. You understand? That's the reason why I'll put that. You get me? So once we're in that, it's fine. We can access our thing there. We see if it's fine. We don't have any stress on that, which is gonna be content.php. Content.php. Once we hit that, it said content. It wasn't found, and I asked myself, where did I create this? So it's giving us this error that we cannot find this page. Okay, content. Let me see, content.php. We can't see that, which is crazy. It's okay. It's okay. We can deal with that later. Let's try to write our thing, and we get done. I wonder why we're getting this like this. Okay, that's fine, guys. That's programming. Whenever you program, don't forget that errors are part of it. We go back, guys. I'm sorry. Go to your JavaScript here. This code just to alert. This does nothing to do. This one just to call your URL. Maybe there's a URL I created already. I'm gonna call it display. That was php.php. But anyway, I can change it to anything anyway, because here is to learn. So now what we do, we go here. The second line, we say data. Which is gonna be equals to whatever you want to make it, the ID you want to select. You get me? The ID you want to select for in this case, we're going to be selecting this ID, which is emp ID. So we want to select that ID and also go tell the database that that's the ID we need. Whatever ID selected here is what we're gonna use. We go here, you put it in there. After that, you say plus value, the value which is gonna get from there, from your JavaScript val. Okay, then you close that, you go to the next page. The next page, which is gonna say, put this $.post. Okay, the post method. Then you're gonna call your parameters here. So one parameter we're gonna get, we need the URL which we created already here. Put it in here. Then we say comma. Then another parameter we need is data. Okay, the data we put here, and after getting that data, then we're gonna go and say those are fine. We say comma, then we say function. then inside the function we put data again inside here. So after putting data there, so just know that you don't have this is something you have to go out, you push it down here, you close it with that, you understand? So after closing it with that, simply means you find there. So once you find, then we're gonna call the display me. Okay, so display me is where we're gonna drop everything. So we're gonna go here and say $sign, we go inside here, display me. This is the div where we're going to display stuff from our PHP page. Okay, we do that, and after doing that, we do what we said, dot. Okay, if you used ID, you put dash, you put a slash, a hashtag. But if you used class, you put a dot like this. In this case, you saw ours is what is the ID here. You get me? It's the ID. You can see ID is not class. So then you say dot. When you say dot, then you say HTML data. HTML, then you say data. Say this and say data. Okay, after getting data there, we're gonna run our page and see what's gonna happen. Something might happen, something might not happen. We say this, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. You can see, though we gave it something new, something fine. Okay, look into our JavaScript and see if everything's fine. The first line talks about the URL, and we put in the display.php, and the second line talks about data, mpid plus value. Then the third line talks about post method. We done URL, data, then function. Then when you get a function, you go down here and you close this. You don't close this, you have to put this. Get me, forgot to put that. Get me on the function. Okay, you see, you have to check each and every line, otherwise you're gonna be in trouble. Refresh again, try select, say okay, gives you something, and something wrong happens. Okay, posted, whatever. Yeah, something is happening which is not wrong. It shows that we are getting there. So in the display code here, we're gonna create another page, which is this content. It gave us something crazy. We're gonna say save. We saved this, but let's now take out all this content. We cut this out, and we say echo. Okay, say echo, my name is Azania. Okay, we're gonna say that only. We put that, we go to our codes here and say CONTENT. Then we save that. After saving that, we're gonna go here and refresh and say select this guy, say okay. Wow, you can see now what I've tried to do. Now the code is working. Whenever I select, it tells me my name is Azania. You saw that this text box was populated, something was populated in there. This is what we have. So let me change here and say my name is YouTube. Okay, whatever I put there is what is going to be displayed there. So it simply means we're done with our HTML. Okay, you see my name is YouTube. That's good. So we're done with our HTML, JavaScript and stuff. Everything is working. Now we're going to deal with our PHP. So since our PHP was giving us trouble, I knew what could have caused the problem. So now here we're going to show the errors, and here we're calling everything to be fine. So look this line, this is the code I'm not going to write. This line helps us to connect to the database. Other lines don't care about them. Just put a code for connect to the database. This one gonna help us to give us errors. That's what I wanted. Okay, so we refresh, and once we refresh, I'm gonna go here, say okay, we get into trouble because we have a problem with that. Okay, oh, do we have some? Let me delete this code. It could be one of the reasons why we don't come along with our stuff. Okay, 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 that is fine. This is the code I used there. This is the code I used there. Okay, in the meantime, we want to find out why that is a problem. Okay, but anyway, that is okay. I'm gonna use some of the codes I used before, and I see what we're gonna get. The JavaScript is one of the codes which were a little bit more stressful. We're done with that, and I wanna get the codes, old codes somewhere. We see what to do without wasting a lot of time. Since the JavaScript is done, now we need PHP codes. Okay, please give me my PHP code. Okay, display, I'm gonna look for display. Okay, these are the codes I used in the display. I'm gonna copy the same codes, and don't worry, you're gonna know them. You don't have to worry about anything. Okay, since I put those display codes, we have been using a table, so I'm gonna delete all these tables. Okay, I don't need those tables there. I don't need these. I don't need any table here. Okay, don't need this anymore. Okay. Simply means I don't need anything here like a table. Only need to display one thing, so I just need to display a name whenever I select. So once I select and I get it right, I'm gonna explain to you what's going on. Okay, let's get into there. Okay, in our JavaScript, we're going to delete this guy, and wow, what happened? Okay, we're going to delete this guy. Okay, we don't need him, just was to alert us. Okay, okay, it doesn't want to show into the text area. The problem might be the text area. We can make it to be just a normal div. Take out the high here. We close the div here. Okay, doesn't want to show in that. Okay, wow. Okay, we're gonna say main. Okay, line 12. Okay, that's good. You see the problem now we have is good. We can see why emp id, the id is not recognized. Why? Line 12, which line 12? Content. It says it doesn't see that line id. Let me see. Please get me right. I'm gonna see that. Where is the problem? 12. This one, this is the id we put. So simply means it doesn't recognize that id. So which we're going to get? That id is the one which is gonna talk to this and give us the correct stuff. So now, if we don't put the id, we're gonna get the information. So for instance, I'm gonna take out this, but that's not the target. I take out that, and also I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna stop this id for now, and whenever somebody selects, we're gonna see stuff, but the stuff we're going to see, it won't be based on anything. Just to be, it's just click event. You can see all what we see is the name of a person. Whenever also name, all the names are mixed here. You understand? Which we don't want. So what we want to do is we want, whenever we select, so we put in the id here, and we put in this where emp id where emp id equals to this id, the one we get. So we say this. Sometimes you have to put an if statement to avoid those errors. Okay. Then when we have to go to this main and we see if we set out the id where, you get me? Okay, id emp id. I'm gonna replace it with the right one. Everything should be the same. Replace all. Okay, good. Then id you can see the emp id should be fine. Okay, we display in here, but then this is the id. We take that side, you can see. So maybe there's something we did wrong here. id value. After saving that, let's see if it's gonna work for us. Get it right. Okay, still the id give us a problem. So what we're gonna do, we might wrap an if statement on it. You get me? So then we will be fine. So what we do here, we're gonna say get me right. We're gonna say if is set emp id, which is this. If this guy is set, if this guy is set, okay, if this guy is set, then what do we do? Give it that. We give it that. We name it that. So it should be set to get that right. Okay, so now we're done with that. If that is set, whatever, what happens then? We have also to close here. Okay, 1 1 2 2. Okay, line 18 emp id is not recognized. I wonder why is not recognized. Okay, I'm gonna get it right, guys. So emp id, they talk about this guy emp id. So why is it like that? Gonna see if I gave it the id in here, because it's not passed. It simply means it's not passed from where it has to be done. Passed this id name equals to id also here is fine. So okay, let me see if we don't get that right. Let me get that. Okay. In trouble here, but we're gonna get it right. So this was done correctly. Okay, here that's where we get a problem. Oh, I said set emp id post. Can we use the get method? No, we don't have to, because everything's okay. Okay, you have to get it in the wall. It doesn't have to give us that much of trouble. Wonder why is it like that? Put it in the if statement, didn't work. Can we put it until here? Can we close the if statement until here? And we see if it's gonna work for us. Okay. Nothing worked. Why? Because the emp id is not yet recognized. It's not sent by JavaScript. What did we use here? Let me get one of the get this right. Okay, let me find out what's going on first, guys, then we proceed. I don't want to take a lot of time. Let me pause. Yeah, guys, I've fixed the issue which has been giving us trouble, and it was like the id was not recognized in the it was not sent by JavaScript in our content page. You get me? So you can see here, you call it the way you call in PHP, another PHP, exactly what you do in PHP. id equals to post method, which is id here. After getting the id, so you go into the database and say where id equals to this id. You get me? So now the main page looks like this. Guys, I'm going to send everything in the comment box below. In the link, I'm gonna send you the link where to find all these codes. So you say the alert, we know we took it out, so the id is here. This id, once you say this id is being sent to PHP. So whenever you select, it's gonna give you that what you selected from the DB. So which table are we talking about? We talked about the table which is we select from which table is this? Employees. So whenever we select an employee, we get a different we get different information. You can see here, if I click here, select employee 1, it gives me this person. Employee 2, it gives me this with the ID and the surname, everything. So it's not fixed. I'm talking about the data display is not 100%, but the codes are working 100%. So let me explain the code a bit when you find them in the where we're gonna post them. this code paste the way it is, but you have to change your IDs, you have to change your table, and also you have to change your connection to the database. That's all. This code you can delete it if you want. I might delete it also when I'm posting this code, you get me. So in the first code you only have also to change the content page. If you want to make it a content page, it's fine. If you want to make it something else, it's also fine. This display, this div, the div, you can name it whatever you want to name it. It's all gonna be up to you guys. Thanks for watching. The tutorial's been a little bit longer than expected, but anyway, everything's working. You just copy and paste. If you know a little bit about PHP, is good. If you don't know, also don't worry, follow the steps. We didn't also show you how to create a database. You will create one, and you create one table that you can search it on the internet to get it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.